thought I'd share a little bit about Yin Yoga because I know there's a lot of people out there who have never done Yin Yoga before or are just not sure what Yin Yoga is. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of background about Yin Yoga, and it is very different from your typical flow, Vinyasa Flow yoga class. So instead of flowing from one pose to the next in Yin Yoga, it is a very slow and mindful practice, which I absolutely fell in love with when I took my teacher training. And I think it is a very important modality to practice in order to lower stress. So in a Vinyasa class where you might hold a pose for 3 to 5 breaths, in Yin Yoga we hold the poses for 3 to 5 minutes. And there are only 26 poses in Yin Yoga. Some of them you might be familiar with, but a couple of them have different names when they're used in a Yin Yoga class. And so there are 3 principles in Yin Yoga. The first principle is to, when you're coming into the pose, you just want to feel something. This shouldn't be pain or pinching or piercing, but you just want to feel some sort of stretch and then just stop there. You're not trying to go full on, split pose or something. You just want to feel something and then stop. And then the second principle is coming into stillness, hence why you don't want to go full on. And I think this is one of the reasons why Yin Yoga is probably difficult for a lot of people in today's modern age, because we are in such a go mode. It is difficult for a lot of people to just sit still and do nothing. So that would be one reason why Yin Yoga might be a little more difficult than a typical yoga class that you're moving and flowing in, because in Yin Yoga we come to stillness in the pose. And then the third principle is holding for time. Like I mentioned, in a Yin Yoga pose, we hold the pose for 3 to 5 minutes. So this allows you to get into your body and notice what you're feeling. Whereas if you're in a flow class, you're not really focusing on what your body's feeling. You might feel something, but really you can get into your body in a Yin Yoga class and when you're in that Yin Yoga pose. And it allows you to kind of focus and notice what feels good, what doesn't. It allows you to notice, for instance, if you're doing a pose on the right side of the body versus the left side. I was teaching a class the other day and someone said, oh, I was able to do it easier on the right side than I was on the left. These are things that you notice because you're slowing down in a Yin Yoga class. And so the other benefit of slowing down is in a Yin Yoga class, it's kind of like a meditation. When you're in that 3 to 5 minutes, you're focusing on your breath and you're just noticing how you feel in your body. You might say a mantra as you're in the pose to keep you in that state. And I think it's fabulous. And so today I just wanted to share one pose with you that you might be familiar with if you've done other yoga practices, and it is called Balasana, child's pose. So to get into the pose, you come onto all fours. And this pose is contraindicated for pregnant women and people with knee issues. So you might want to check with your doctor or a professional before trying this pose. And so the knees are hip distance apart, and the hands are also shoulder width apart. And then you're just going to slowly lower the hips toward the heels. Arms are extended, and then the head and chest lower toward the mat. Now, another option, if your hips don't go quite as far toward your ankles as mine did, is you can use a blanket or a bolster behind the hips. Just place them on your calves. And then when you lower down, you have that support. Also, if your head doesn't reach the mat, you can use the blocks. Props are your friends in Yin. Don't be afraid to use them. They can make your practice actually nice and juicy. And so just coming down and then lower your head onto the block. And the final way that you could do this pose is on your back. So just lying on your back and then bringing your knees in toward your chest. So Balasana is a resting pose. It's called child's pose for a reason. And it's also stimulating for the digestive system. So we're just gonna hold the pose here for a few minutes so you can see what it's like. And I'm gonna try not to move out here in nature with the bugs bothering my face. So see how that goes. And then to come out of the pose, you want to gently lift your head off the mat, bringing your hands back underneath the shoulders and lifting back up into that tabletop position. And then you might want to do a round of cat-cow here, so slowly dropping the belly, flaring the hips, head comes up last, and then rounding through the back, tucking the tailbone, and then a few more rounds at your own pace. And then coming onto your hips. I would not suggest doing that right after you have eaten, because it might be very uncomfortable for your belly. But it is a great resting pose. You might do that at the beginning of a class or toward the end of a class. It's also a great pose to do in between, your Vinyasa Flow class. Some teachers will do that. So, but it is one of the 26 yin poses and one of my favorites, and I just wanted to share that with you. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Namaste.